I stopped dead, my brain short-circuiting, stunned by the sight of Seven alone in the clearing ahead of me. It's like I conjured him there with the force of my rage. He blocked me. Blocked me. Me, the woman who he insists is such a child that she can't make an informed decision about who she wants to date. Meanwhile, instead of dealing with what happened between us yesterday, he's taken the path of maximum immaturity. If someone had told me Seven would ghost me a few days ago, I would have laughed in their face and demanded they apologize. I never would have stood for that kind of disrespect toward my friend. Seven isn't a cowardly, selfish asshole. He wouldn't do that to anyone, especially not his best friend. Those were his words, not mine. He called me his best friend while we were up that tree at my brother's wedding reception. Then, the very next evening, he was ready to pretend that I didn't exist. A part of me wants to storm across the clearing and demand to know who the hell he thinks he is. But the other part is too worried about my free-falling stomach and the voice in my head warning that something is very wrong. First of all, Seven shouldn't be here. I never mentioned this trip to him after our fight, and he wouldn't have signed up on his own. He loves rock climbing, but he never takes off work, especially not for 3 whole days. And even if taking off work is part of his new ghosting, being a dick personality, he shouldn't be standing here all alone. I'm half an hour late. Wendy Ann got stuck behind a garbage truck on the way to pick me up. And then the last road leading up to the meeting spot was washed out. Wendy Ann had to crawl up on top of her car to get cell service to text Lilac. Then Lilac had to give us alternate directions, and then I had to strap on all my gear for the short hike up an access road not fit for my sister's little sedan. Then, before I could set out, I had to endure a weirdly long hug from Wendy Ann. A hug. My sister isn't a hugger. She isn't much of a toucher in general. Wendy Ann is a brain in a jar. She exists almost completely inside her own head. But this morning, she hugged me and said that I could totally survive for 3 days in the wilderness. At the time, I'd smiled at her worrywart side and assured her that I absolutely could and would survive. I have tons of experience with backcountry camping, snacks in my pack to supplement the meals provided by the tour, and my water purifying supplies. I also have a tricked-out first aid kit, and am an accomplished climber. And while there might not be reliable cell service out here in the sticks, there surely will be where we're going. Even the Golden Spire Bluffs are closer to civilization than the National Forest outside Bad Dog. I'm still not sure why we're meeting in the forest west of town to drive to a location 2 hours southeast in Lilac's 4-wheel drive vans, but that's part of the fun of a tour. You let someone else worry about the planning. All I have to do is throw my bag into the back of the van, pop my earbuds in, and settle in for the ride. Or so I'd thought. But there aren't any vans here. No tents to load up. Not so much as a s'mores kit or a bottle of sunscreen. There's just Seven, alone with his own bag, scowling at me like he's thinking about wringing my scrawny neck. Only my neck isn't scrawny, and I have no idea what he's so pissed about. He's the one who's been acting like a spoiled teenager with 0 conflict resolution skills. What? I ask, propping my hands on my hips. Why are you looking at me like that? I can't believe you did this. His voice is a low, ominous rumble, like the thunder punctuating the air this morning. Turns out, I was wrong about the weather holding. A storm to the south shifted course overnight and is set to dump several inches of rain on us later this morning. But it's a fast-moving system and should clear out by the time we reach the bluffs. The storm building inside of me, however. What are you talking about? I ask sharply. You can't believe I did what? Signed up for the same climbing trip that you did? Believe me, if I'd known you were going to be here, I wouldn't have come. That isn't true. I absolutely would have come. I've been dying for a face-to-face with him since my text messages started bouncing last night. But that doesn't matter. What matters now is showing him that he's being an idiot. Throwing away our chance to be something more than friends is stupid. But throwing away our friendship? The best friendship of my entire life, and I would wager his too? Well, that's insanity. Plain and simple. That's boss-level dum-dum shit, and I'm not going to let him get away with it. He's better than that. He's the best. I try to remember that as he huffs out a humorless laugh and shakes his head. So, who helped you plan it? My mother? Sprout? He curses beneath his breath as he begins to pace back and forth, his hiking boots silent on the pine needles. I should have known. She was way too excited for a school day. All that grinning and dancing around the kitchen. But stupid me, I thought maybe the bullies had finally decided to take it easy on my kid. My stomach tightens, and my synapses fire, flinging images of Wendy Ann and Sprout whispering together over wedding cake to the surface of my mind. Then, the two of them whispering over chips last night, at the shower, when Sprout's sitter dropped her off near the end of the party. But no, she wouldn't.